So this is 2025, and by now I'm very sure that you have watched a lot of videos, you have done enough research, and at this point you can now make up your mind on which business you want to go with. The wind is a little bit, very strong, but yeah, like I was saying, you are now certain on which business you want to start with. Is it the poultry farming? Is it the piggery? Is it the goats? Is it the crop farming? Well, in this video we are going to be talking in particular about poultry farming, because on this channel we have actually been talking about poultry farming in general, the challenges that we face in the poultry business, and then the solutions as well in the poultry farming. So let's get into the video. My name is Jacob, and on this poultry farm we actually do local chicken currently, but after some time, like not more than a year, we would like to advance to other breeds of birds like the broilers or the layers. But for now we are actually doing local chicken on this poultry farm. You can actually take a look at our poultry structure over there. That's the poultry house that we have in here at our poultry farm, and over here you can take a look at our fence. This is a fence which we actually made with the locally available materials. You can take a look. This is a pole, and then this was actually put because this pole was short, so we had to put some extension of the pole so that it can support these 2-3 bamboos over here. So this is actually our fence, whereby some people can use the chain link fence, and others can use the barbed wire, and others can also use the wall fence, whereby they can make bricks over, and then throughout the poultry farm that will be a fence. But for us, we decided to use this, and it is actually helping us so much. And over here you can take a look that we have an iron sheet. Yeah, this is an iron sheet which we want to actually use to actually do some renovation on our poultry structure, whereby we do have some problems with the house because it wasn't properly made. At some point during the rainy season, we normally incur some rain splashing into the house. So if we are actually having layers or broilers, that would be a really big problem. But for now we are keeping local birds, and they normally stay on the patches. They don't stay on the ground, they stay on the patches. So however much the rain splashes in, it wouldn't affect them at one point or the other. So with this, we'll actually cut it, I think, in 3 columns, and then we will place it over there so that it can act like something that will actually prevent the rain from entering into the poultry house. So that's not actually what we are in today's video, but what I was trying to say is that 2025 has arrived, and we are actually, I think, some 10 days to February of 2025. If you really want to start a poultry farm in 2025, there are certain things that you should actually know before diving into the poultry farming, because just like any other businesses, poultry farming also fails people a lot. There are very many people that have injected lots of money in the poultry farming and have totally failed. So I really don't want you to be one of those people who at one point you inject your money and at the end you lose your money. So this 2025, I am actually giving you tips or the things that you should do if you want to do poultry keeping that will make you succeed at the end. Number 1 is the breed of the bird that you want to keep into your poultry farm. I will start with me, because I am a typical example. I am a living testimony. First of all, there are very many breed of birds that we have. We have the local birds, that's with the poultry birds. We have the local birds, the broilers, the layers, and then there are also other more birds like the turkey. We have the geese. They also lie about poultry birds. So like I was saying, the breed of the bird that you select really matters a lot when it comes to the success of your poultry farm. So the moment you think about poultry farming, guys, the breed is number one. And in here I am doing local birds, but if I am doing local birds, it doesn't mean that you must also do local birds. Get me right there, because with the experience and then with the knowledge that I've spent in this business of poultry birds, there are some challenges that I've faced, and I don't want you to actually face them when at all you want to go to the local birds. So with the local birds in this 2025, because I don't want you to lose your money, with the local birds, number one, these birds grow very, very slow. Very slow, and then the rate at which they convert the feeds in their body is also very, very low. So if you want to go for the local birds, you must know these kind of things in mind. That you can excuse me that the wind is a little bit, you know, strong, and yeah, but that won't stop us from making this video. So the local birds grow very slow, like I was saying. So if you want to go to the local birds, you must have that mentality that the local birds grow very slow, and then the rate at which they convert the feeds, guys, is very, very low. I can give you a scenario that you can actually start keeping local birds, but when you try to compare a person, okay, let me say that you bring in the local birds. Let me say that today is the 20th of January. You bring in the local birds, let's say that 1 month, or let's say that a day-old chick local bird, and then somebody brings a day-old chick broiler bird. 2 months from now, the person who have brought the broiler bird, a day-old broiler bird, will be able to sell the broiler bird at, let me say, 10,000 shillings, Ugandan shillings. That is around 3 point something dollars when you try to convert it. But the person who is keeping the local birds will actually don't be in position to sell this bird at 10,000 shillings, Ugandan shillings. First of all, this bird after 2 months will be like, I don't know, very small. It will just have past brooding, let me say 1 month plus, very small bird. And when you look at this bird at that stage, it cannot be eaten, you know, it can't be eaten at all. So you can see that for you to actually get money in the local birds, guys, if it is in a commercial way, it is very, very hard. I've personally tried it, it is very hard. So that's number one. So in 2025, when you want to start a farm, make sure that you be keen while selecting the breed of the birds that you want to start with. You know, you must be keen. To me, I can advise that if you have some money, you know, we are not meant to start very big. I normally tell you guys on this channel that all these poultry farms that you have seen having very many birds in their farms, having 10,000 birds, 20,000 birds, 50,000 birds, they didn't actually have the 50,000 birds overnight. It is a one step at a time. So if you have some time or some money, in most cases, if you have some money, that's what I'm trying to say, try to go for the broilers, because first of all, the broilers can make you money. Within a short period of time, you have gotten back your money, you know. And then second is that when maybe there is some extra money that you have, layers are also good. But the problem with the layers is that they normally take long, you know, long to bring back money to you. Like you can keep them for 4 months without getting any money from the birds. So that's also another problem. But the moment they start to lay, you can keep them every day, getting money from them every day. So that is number one. And then, which is very, very important, guys, the breed of the birds that you select will also determine whether you are going to make money from your poultry farming or not. let me give you another example. Let's say that on this poultry farm, you can take a look, guys. We have cassava over there, some banana plantations over here. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is a bigger one. And then the poultry farm is over there. Let me assume that we actually stocked very many birds in here. We would actually be spending a lot of money in the feeds, and then the rate at which they convert the feeds to their body in terms of the growth will be very low. That's why in most cases you see, when you don't do calculations on your poultry farm, you will find that when you buy a bird, let me say a local bird, one local bird, and then you start feeding it with the commercial feeds. That's why I don't recommend people to be feeding their local birds with the commercial feeds. The moment you start feeding your local birds with the commercial feeds, at the end whereby you will reach to sell your birds, you will find that the amount of money that you have spent in buying the feeds alone is actually higher than the price of the bird that you will be selling. I don't know if you're trying to understand what I'm trying to say. So these birds are local birds, and they're actually meant to, you know, stay on their own, but we are actually trying to give them a modern way of, you know, living. We are actually trying to civilize the way they live, but in one way or the other, it's trying to be a little bit different or harder to us. So that's number one. The next thing is that when you do want to start a poultry farm in 2025, make sure that you do enough research about the poultry feeds. I think this is one of the most factor that has driven very many poultry farmers from the poultry business. Yeah, because you can find that, because right now we are in dry seasons. I think you can take a look. Things are dry, you know, things are really, really dry. Let me try to come closer over here. Things are totally dry. I think you can take a look, guys. And over here, a good typical example is over here. You can take a look at the ground, guys. Very, very dry. This is January and we're expecting the rain by March. That's normally when it comes. You can take a look at the leaves of the cassava. Totally dry, totally yellow, as if maybe there is some disease on the cassava, but no, we are in the dry season, so there is no rainfall. Thus the cassava is also having a hard time, you know, to make the green leaves. So like I was saying, when it comes to the poultry feeds, you must be very careful, very, very careful. This is whereby very many poultry farmers have failed because of the poultry feeds. First of all is that, what kind of feed formulation do you want to give your birds? You know, are you actually going to mix your feeds locally in a local way, or you are going to be giving them the ready-made feeds? That's number two. So like I was saying, the moment you get the ingredients in high prices, you know, the rate at which you will give your birds will also be high, and then the cost of production will be high, such the rate at which you will be selling these birds will be low. And when you try to do some calculations, you will actually be making a loss, a total loss. Make sure that you do enough research on the poultry feeds before bringing in your birds into your poultry farm. You know, first of all, you must know where you are going to be getting your feeds from, and at which price or how much are they going to be selling you these feeds. If they're actually going to be selling you the ingredients, then you must know how much they're also going to be selling you the ingredients, and then you must also do the calculations. That's why I normally say that record keeping is also very, very important when it comes to businesses, not only poultry farming but also other businesses. You must exactly know how much money you have put into a certain business, and you must also calculate how much money you will be getting from that business. If you have done that, then that will be very, very well. And then another thing is that we must actually join hands in hands for us to succeed in poultry farming. Poultry farming is not like a one-man's army, you know. Poultry farming is not like something that you can do on your own, you know. You have the money, but you don't have the skill. So you can have the money, but there is no skill. So however much you start a poultry farm with how much money you have, if you don't have the skill, then your money will be gone. That's why most poultry farmers fail. And then you can have the skill, and if you have the skill but there is no money, where will you put your skill in or to, you know? So these things actually work hand in hand for us to succeed, you know. So never try to actually do the things alone. The moment you have the skill, make terms and conditions with somebody who has the money, you know. Work things out. The moment you have the money and you don't have the skill, then obviously look for somebody who has the skill. And if maybe that is a little bit impossible, then if you have the money, try to look for enough research, you know. Do enough research on poultry farming before you starting a poultry farm, you know. Spend time on the ground, read books, do enough research. Currently there are a lot of information on the internet, you know. There are very many YouTube channels that normally talk about poultry farming, a lot, very many. So you can get as many as you can. Spend your time in there, do some comparisons, and then get enough information about what you want to do. And then when you get that right, you can now start a poultry farm. The chances of you failing are a little bit lower than a person who has the money but doesn't have the skill. You know what I'm trying to say? So this is 2025. We must be very, very careful, very, very, very keen, and then we will succeed in whatever thing that we want to do. So as always, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and if you found any information in this video kinda important to you, do me a favor, like the video, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified immediately I drop any kind of video on the channel, because on this channel we talk about poultry farming, currently on the local birds and partially on broilers and then the layers, because we have the information, we have the knowledge. So stay on the channel. Yeah, see you in my next video. Bye bye.